My connection to the entire thing was they had an open cast call for native actors, so I submitted some stuff just to hope I might get involved a little bit, you know, and I didn't realize that once I submitted my resume and my interviews that they wanted and stuff, and that I could speak some of the language. The co-producers came here, or not came here, but called here, and he was looking for one of our muzzleloader guys and asked him if he ran a number of the programs here, and I said, he don't, I do. And so he explained the film again to what they were doing, and I told him I was familiar with it. So he asked me my name, I told him, and at one point he asked me if I was a member of the First Nations. That's kind of a term they use up in Canada. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, what nation or tribe you with? And I told him Arikara. And he got quiet for a minute, and then he just goes, Arikara. I said, yeah. He says, you're an Arikara. I said, yep. You're an Arikara, he said. I said, yes. And he just goes, well, he said, can I call you back? I said, sure. Then he said, how can we get you up here this week? What do we need to do? Who do we need to talk to? And I just said, okay, these are my days off. That's what you got to work with. And bam, that was it. They flew me up to Calgary, flew me right out on set. I mean, right when I got to the airport, their people were waiting with the sign and picked me up, drove me right out to set, met the director, met some of his staff, and so eventually they wanted me to have, wanted me to be part of the film in terms of bringing me on as an employee or as their technical advisor. So yeah, I talked to my superintendent here, the boss, and so we had to separate that because the park can't do that and all that type of stuff. So this was, my own expertise on my own time. So I took time off from the park here when I was able to, and they told me, come up, we're going to take you up. They showed me the schedule that they would be using me, so they could work with the job here. Leo made me laugh when he couldn't read all of it. I mean, when he saw what it actually looked like, he was like, holy smokes. He didn't say that, but he was like, this is epic, and of course there was some words thrown in there, and but he's a quick study. I'll give him that. He got it done, man. I was very impressed with him. Like some of the things, with him and Forrest, their conversations, that Forrest, they always wanted one of them they asked me was like, when Forrest was feeling bad, when his father was dying, how would you say, I love you, Dad, and so I said, Dia shishta adiach, that's what you would say, Dia shishta adiach, that I love you, Dad, and because he was hurting, for his father, Okay, this is what we call a hunter shack, and it would be pretty typical of what people like Hugh Glass, all the guys that were out hunting and providing for the fort here. So you kind of see some of their stuff geared up. They had this type of bedding. This would be more furnished, so you might have their weapons, all the things they need to travel and do stuff. So they had their own little shacks like this that they could stay in and be part of the fort. So they were kind of separate because they were special in a way, I guess that way. The main workforce here were engagés. They were basically laborers, and so they had no skills. So Glass and them were able to trap, they were able to hunt, they were able to get a number of things for the site here and help that way. So mainly hunting, because they had to provide for the meat and all that for all the workers here. So that was part of their thing. When he was here, he was providing the meat and all that stuff for all the workers, So they had him doing a number of things like that. So this is pretty typical of a place where he would have stayed, this type of thing, hunter's shack.